As Goku and Vegeta materialized in the sacred world of the Kais, they immediately rounded on Shin. "You've got to be kidding me," Vegeta snapped, pressing 2 fingers to his forehead in an attempt to sense Frieza's energy. "It's no use, they're too far away," Goku said, scratching the back of his head as he looked over to the Kai with a puzzled expression. "What'd you do that for? We were right in the middle of something, you know." The Supreme Kai stood firm. "Frieza was already stronger than both of you before he claimed the mantle. If I hadn't intervened, things would have gotten much worse for everyone." Vegeta turned away with a frustrated huff, muttering under his breath, "Shh! I'm starting to think your job is just getting in our way. I had him dead to rights. Do you have any idea what you've done?" Goku simply nodded. Then he tilted his head. "Still, you must have had a good reason, right?" "Frieza has been putting his plan into motion for a while now," Shin continued. "Beerus wouldn't heed my warning, so I've been keeping an eye on him. You had no hope of defeating him as you are now." "We still had a few tricks up our sleeve," Goku replied, cracking his knuckles with a grin. "Besides, we've done crazier stuff." Shin shook his head. "Even relying on fusion, you wouldn't stand a chance." "And what's to say you're not underestimating us yet again, Kai?" Vegeta barked. "You seem to make a habit of it." "Frieza has been using his power and influence to scour the universe for any bits of strength he can find. Magical artifacts, powerful techniques, advanced technology, he's using it all to bolster his empire and tighten his grip over the universe," Shin said. "So we should crush him before he's got the chance," Vegeta snapped. "I demand you bring me back this instant, or I'll crush you and do it myself." "I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm sorry, Vegeta," Shin replied. Vegeta clenched his fists, but held back. "Shh! What is it you're hiding? You must be real strong if you're this worked up," interrupted Goku, crossing his arms thoughtfully. "Honestly, I haven't seen you this rattled since Buu." "You have no idea," Shin replied, his tone grave. "But I believe I have a plan." Meanwhile, on Beerus, or rather, Lord Frieza's, planet, 3 figures remained behind, caught in the aftermath of the deity's downfall. Broly, Chi-Lai, and Lemma were left helpless when Frieza struck down Beerus and seized the Mantle of Destruction. Having once served under Frieza, they were quickly subjugated. Lemma was forced into brutal kitchen and janitorial labor, not out of necessity, but for Frieza's twisted amusement. Chi-Lai, defiant as ever, was imprisoned, her spirit unbroken but her freedom stripped away, and Broly, though uncontrollable force Frieza once failed to tame, was sealed off, preserved for future experimentation or use, a weapon too valuable to discard, but too dangerous to set free. As Frieza watched his adversaries vanish, he made no move to pursue them. Instead, he turned to Whis, his eyes gleaming with ambition. "Whis," Frieza called out, his tone dripping with newfound authority, "I trust you'll teach me how to play with this new toy." His eyes gleamed with malevolent anticipation, eager to wield his power. Whis, maintaining his composed demeanor, responded, "It is not a toy, Lord Frieza. Mastery of such power requires discipline and understanding." His tone was neutral, betraying no emotion. Frieza chuckled darkly. "Discipline, you say? Very well, let's begin." Frieza's ambition burned brighter than ever as he embraced his status. Under Whis' guidance, he began to explore the intricacies of godly power and revel in the majesty of pure destruction. As a deity, he wasn't meant to preserve, but to erase, to unmake, and in that, Frieza was disturbingly well suited. His cruel precision and unrelenting will made him a natural fit, quickly adapting to the nearly boundless authority the role afforded him. Still, his thirst for power was far from quenched. His thoughts turned to his personal training realm, the hyperbolic abyss. This twisted counterpart to the familiar chamber was a void of infinite darkness, where time stretched endlessly and the environment itself was a merciless opponent. Within this twisted realm, Frieza endured a torment far beyond mortal comprehension. The hyperbolic abyss was not merely a space where time was warped, it was a crucible of unrelenting psychological and physical agony. Darkness reigned eternal, not as an absence of light, but as a living, suffocating force that clung to his very soul. The atmosphere was crushing, like an invisible vice wrapped around his body and mind, distorting every thought, magnifying every fear, and stretching every second into an eternity of suffering. Here, the very fabric of the dimension turned against him. Gravity shifted at random, often pinning him motionless for what felt like days, only to violently release him into storms of spectral blades and shrieking winds that tore at his flesh. Space twisted in paradoxes, corridors that led nowhere, screams that echoed from within his own mind. Time fractured, replaying his worst moments over and over. forcing him to relive his humiliations, failures, and betrayals until rage was the only thing that kept him sane. Manifestations of his darkest urges and most twisted thoughts stalked him, whispering his doubts, mocking his ambitions. There was no peace, no reprieve, only a grinding descent into madness. Any being driven by virtue, hope, or compassion would have broken within the first few minutes, but Frieza was not bound by morality. He embraced the abyss, clawed through it, and made it his own. When he finally emerged from the hyperbolic abyss after what felt like eons, Frieza's form had become something far more focused and fearsome. His once familiar silhouette had been once again refined into something more regal, cloaked in a smooth black and a muted gray that seemed to drink in the light around him. Subtle accents of gold and violet adorned his frame. His aura pulsed with quiet intensity, a suffocating presence that radiated gold authority. This was no mere transformation. It was the result of torment endured and power mastered, the embodiment of a will that had refused to break. He would use this power to conquer everything. Shin, Vegeta, and Goku head back to the Demon Realm to ask Neva about the strange power he had awakened in Goku during their last visit. They're hoping he might know something, anything, that could help them in the fight to come. The trip is quick this time, thanks to Bulma, who had gotten her hands on Magellite from the Demon Realm and reverse-engineered one of their aircraft. They now had a newer, faster, better plane. It was at least twice as fast as the Gendarmerie models. When they arrive at the second Demon World, things looked mostly the same, but there was one big difference. The Namekian village Neva had resided in was now alive. Most of the Namekians had settled comfortably in Universe 7, but after hearing that Ku was a just and fair ruler, many agreed to migrate back to their true home, restoring the land to its former glory and spreading out their people to bolster their resilience and culture. Upon landing, the group is greeted by a familiar face. Elder Mori stands waiting near the edge of the landing platform, his robes fluttering slightly in the wind. If it isn't our earthly savior, and... Mori's expression falls slightly as his eyes land on Vegeta. "Don't worry," Goku reassures, clapping a hand on Vegeta's shoulder. "He's been through a lot since then. He's on our side now. You can trust him." Vegeta growls, shrugging him off. "I see. It has been some time. What brings you to us?" Shin steps forward. "We must speak to Neva about an urgent issue. The entire universe is in danger." Mori gives a slow, knowing nod. "Neva?" He smiles faintly, then gestures towards a nearby park where young Namekian children are playing under the gentle yellow glow of the sky. He is just this way. Glittering sparks swirled through the air like mischievous fire spirits, weaving trails of light above the gathering. Bright bursts of color bloomed from nowhere, spinning rings, shimmering birds, and tiny floating stars that pulsed with soft, golden light. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the illusions danced higher, bending into playful shapes that wove between the outstretched hands of curious children and the astonished gazes of elders. Wide-eyed Namekian youths chased the flickering lights with laughter, while even the oldest among them stood still, lips parted in wonder, reflections of the enchantment flickering in their eyes. The magic didn't just dazzle, it seemed to breathe life into the quiet village air, stirring joy like wind through ancient trees. He looks genuinely happy. But then he perks up, sensing their approach. "Ah, look who it is, the warriors who helped us defeat King Goma and liberate our home. Welcome, friends." "It seems we owe them a great deal," Mori says quietly. "They once saved our home in Universe 7 from a tyrant some years ago." Neva nods solemnly. "Indeed, Goma ruled only briefly, but once he obtained the Tertian Oculus, he became more powerful than you could imagine." He gestures to Goku. "But of course our friend here is nothing short of remarkable." Goku rubs the back of his neck with a grin. "I don't know about all that. I just like fighting strong guys." Shin steps forward again. "We came to ask you about something. The same tyrant who once destroyed Namek is now sitting on the throne of our universe's god of destruction." Mori's eyes go wide. Shock, confusion, fear. Neva, however, looks calm. His brow furrows, but he simply waits to hear more. "When we were here last," Shin continues, "you helped Goku achieve a power we haven't seen before or since. Something ancient, something raw. Yes, I recall that power. It was quite something." "It was awesome!" Goku exclaims. "Can you show us how to do it again?" Neva turns towards Goku, but his eyes narrow as he speaks. "I can feel it within you, the divine seed. The energy you now wield is not the same as before. It's evolved, it's something purer, more complete. Surely that's the more fruitful path." Shin speaks calmly. "That may be true, But if Goku and Vegeta can balance both energies, the divine and the demonic, they might become a perfect storm, a force of true balance. Neva grins. If anyone could, it'd be those two. He steps forward, but instead of turning to Goku, he walks right past him, stopping in front of Vegeta. Their eyes meet. I never got the chance to awaken the power within you. Neva raises his palm, and a small white orb of light pulses from his hand into Vegeta's chest. Oh, but your nature will mesh nicely. Perhaps even more so than your friend here. Vegeta scoffs. But then it hits him. A strange power begins to surge within him. His muscles tighten, his body tenses, his eyes go wide, and then crimson fur begins to creep across his arms and torso. A dark crimson mane bursts from his head, trailing down his back. His hands grow slightly, more ape-like, primal. When the transformation finishes, he stares down at his own hands. The power feels strange, familiar, and foreign at once. It's nothing compared to Ultra Ego. It isn't quite on par with Super Saiyan Blue. But still, it burns. Vegeta closes his eyes. He reaches inward. He can feel the divine there, buried, locked away, but he can't quite grasp it. Not yet. He breathes in slowly and exhales, then turns to face Kakarot, who's already powered up into Super Saiyan God, his red aura blazing around him with a cheeky grin. Vegeta has tapped into a power unknown, but can he merge the demonic and the divine forces within him, or was this all a giant waste of time? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Kuro.